This is Tammy Lindahl, and you are listening to the Bomber Buzz.
It's a great day in the Bomber Nation. You're listening to the Bomber Buzz. This is our podcast right out of Birthville Public School. I'm Principal Jacob Jenkins. Joining me, as usual, is Dean of Students, Mr. Paul Rudolph. Paul, how you doing today?
Doing well.
Oh, you know what? Let's try it without your mic muted.
Anyway, I'm doing well. I am doing well.
Well, that's great. It's been this week went so fast. I don't know if it was because we had the short week last week and then full in, but I tell you, for me, it just flew right by.
It did go fast. Now, I did miss a day or two, and then I had a meeting in baseball. We had, it's crazy when we're in the middle of winter, but we did talk baseball on Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
And we started talking about our spring season, meetings on the spring season this past Wednesday. So, it's got to be the turn of the year anyway when you start talking about that.
Right, we're already looking at spring sports.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
At least I thought it's like, I guess it's that time, but
yeah,
here we go.
Well, that's how it works. So, well, let's see. What do we have coming up this week, Paul? A pretty busy week, I think.
We do have a busy week, and obviously, even as you guys are listening, we've got games going on in our gym today. Both our gyms, the old gym and the new gym, we got split in court. For tonight's, we got about 5 games in each court,
right.
And then tomorrow we have 50 youth teams, grade 3 through 6. 50 what they call travel teams or whatever, AAU or travel basketball teams coming to Birthville tomorrow. We start a little bit tonight, and then those same teams will be back along with a bunch of other teams. But 50 teams.
That's crazy.
Stopping in tonight and tomorrow. We start playing tonight about 5:30, and then tomorrow morning we start at 7:30, and then the last game is scheduled for 9:45.
So that's a good 10:30 probably.
It'll be fairly late when we leave. Yeah.
Wow, what a day!
It'll be quite a day, and the other thing, I was just briefly talking about that tournament before I get into next week, but it takes a lot of volunteers, and hats off to the people in our community that are involved in athletics and
right.
want to keep things rolling and help us funding with money. And don't take me wrong, the school obviously covers some general funds as well, but just the cost of officials on occasion. You want some new balls, basketballs, volleyballs, training balls, footballs, baseballs. They all add up, and
very quickly.
Yeah. So and baseball bats and helmets for football and different things of that nature. I mean, we try to do our due diligence, and I just have nothing but tremendous amount of praise for the people. I mean, we staff the concession stand tonight from 5 to 9:30. We staff the concession stand tomorrow from 7:15 in the morning until 9 at night. You know what I mean? And
that's a lot of volunteer hours to make that happen.
You got three different gyms, so you got 3 score clocks. You got 2 referees at each gym, so you've got 6 officials every 45 minutes
all the time.
So it takes a lot of people, very appreciative of all the help that we get from the local community. So hooping in the hangar takes off tonight and then all day tomorrow, and then as we move into the next week, basketball games on Tuesday, January 14th, we play Town or Granville Upham, and I just wanted to. That game there on the schedule, there's been a little bit of a change in times. Due to officials again, it's one of the busiest nights for the Minot Association, and they asked if we could move. So the girls JV will play at 4, and then the girls varsity game will be at 5:30. Both those games will be in the new gym, and then the boys JV game will be at 5, and then the boys varsity game will be at 7. Mm-hmm. On schedules, it was listed different. I just wanted to make sure that got out there. So the game on Tuesday, and then. Thursday, once again, we play at home. We play boys and girls doubleheader again against West Hope, Newburgh, Glenburn. Girls at 4 and 5:30, boys once again at 5 and 7. So that's going on Tuesday and Thursday, and then that's really kind of it for that week. It's kind of a little bit. There's a girls wrestling tournament on the 18th.
Out in Rugby,
Out
right?
in Rugby. Yep. Rugby, I think, is the 25th.
Oh, Rugby is the 25th.
The boys tournament, sorry. The boys tournament is 17th and 18th in Rugby, and then the girls tournament is the following weekend. Right. So, not a tremendous, I guess, week, 2 busy games at home for basketball. I think I did mention in a previous episode, but just once again, that we had to cancel our junior high boys basketball season, just lack of numbers. So we're, not rolling with a junior high season here in January and February now. But so yeah, that's kind of the calendar for next week.
Yeah. I should also mention that on Monday we have our school board meeting. It's here in Berthold, and that'll be at 5:00 on Monday the 13th. So those, of course, are open to the public. That's here in Berthold.
Yeah, I forgot that's right.
Yeah. Well, Paul and I are going to talk a little bit here coming up, but we're going to just take a quick break so you can hear from one of our sponsors here. This podcast and our athletics, and more than you really know, our school is really helped on by our sponsors and through their generosity and just providing us funds. And so that's why these messages are important to us. So we'll be right back and right after this. United Agronomy's mission is to improve the lives of their patrons and their families by offering data-driven solutions that fit each individual acre. From its start with a Berthold office location in the year 2000, United Agronomy has grown quickly to 4 locations in Berthold, Ross, Parshall, and Williston, and continues to expand their partnerships and offerings. From soil testings and crop scouting to custom spray application and fertilizer delivery and more, United Agronomy offers you the farming solutions you need to get the most out of every acre while exemplifying our small town values. Make sure to visit their website or give them a call to find out how they can help you. United Agronomy is a proud sponsor of the Bomber Nation.
This is Tracy Blums with your fun fact for the week. Did you know that it is impossible for crocodiles to stick out their tongue? Now you know.
No doubt.
Well, we're back on the Bomber Buzz, and we've got a shorter episode here today, but there's a few things we thought that might be interesting. Now, the legislative session has started, and they're releasing bills. I shouldn't say releasing, I guess proposing. Is that the right way to say it? But they're left and right. There's quite a few, and I just kind of looked through real quick just to see what kind of piqued my interest. And thought I'd kind of share a couple here that I found interesting that I thought, well, maybe you as listeners might find interesting as well. There is the HB 1098, and that's the North Dakota Scholarship for students looking to be teachers. And to me, this is really interesting because if you don't know, there is a huge shortage for teachers in our state. If I remember right, there was over 200 open teaching positions last year across the state. The need, of course, is not even just rural. I think back in the day, it was easy to just go, oh, this is a rural school thing. This is a small school thing. But, even now our big schools, big city schools that traditionally are able to pull in a lot of people are struggling as well. So there is a shortage. So what this House bill does, if a student takes a unit of teaching professional education or educational methods during the high school, and if they take a dual credit psychology or a dual credit child development, it helps them qualify for the North Dakota State Scholarship. And that, of course, will help them further their career in teaching. So it's just kind of a little bonus incentive to get these high school kids that kind of have teaching on their mind to really start exploring that career in high school. And I see that as being really positive.
There's no question that it'd be a positive there.
Yeah, and we need good teachers, and there's something special, too, when you're a school like us and, we rely on our community to come back, and it's the same with teachers, so we want to foster that now, and then if there's a need in the future and we can bring back our own, that's a special thing to be able to do.
No, it is a special thing, and I think at some point in time we all have to, try to stop this out migration of our students to other areas of the country and try to keep our people here, keep our local people the best we can. So if that helps keep a few more local people, and maybe they'll take another extra class and spark some interest. I don't know that you can go wrong with that.
No, I think it's, I only see positives through that. So I thought that was interesting. Another one that I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about and there's probably varying perspectives on this, but it's House Bill 1160, and it's the prohibition of student cell phones in schools during instructional time. So basically, through this House bill, if it passes, the state will set guidelines that have to be followed for when students can use phones, watches, Fitbits. It basically applies to any kind of technology that uses those kind of services. All applies to that. And they'll basically be prohibited during instructional time. Now, it doesn't really say what instructional time means, but when I was looking, it seems to be like when they're in a classroom, they can't have their device. And so it'll be interesting to see what the interpretation of that is and how that applies to the school. They're also going to have, if you read it, it looks like the school board sets guidelines for how they want non-instructional time, which would be like passing classes, in between classes, before and after school. We'd have to establish guidelines for how we want technology to be able to be used during those times. Oh, and this applies, I believe, to like headphones even, because like earbuds are a huge thing for kids now. So this is one I think will ruffle some feathers, and I think it'll have a lot of support as well, though. I think that we all recognize that cell phone technology can really hinder learning. I mean, it can really get in the way.
Well, I think there's no question that at times it's certainly not warranted.
Yeah.
But then at the same, we had Mike on, the last 3 weeks, and Mike Lodgeslager, sorry. And he offered an interesting point that I hadn't thought of, but it's like, hey, you really have the most powerful technology tool right in your pocket.
Right.
And yet we're still buying computers and different things of that nature. And, I'm like, yeah, but there's still that, the earbud thing.
That's right.
With, listening to music, all that kind of stuff. I've never thought you could really do two things at once. I've never been that type of guy that
I'm not great at it.
believed you could do that.
No.
I have a hard enough time concentrating on one thing and just focusing on giving my best to that, let alone try to do two at a time. And the headphone thing, I guess that's the first I'd heard of that. But would that affect the elementary students then as well when they're
if it's not
during an instructional
school
time?
technology? If it's school technology, it's allowed. So if it's something that we would provide, my understanding on my read, because we do have programs that require
where they
headphones and
where
things like
they listen
that,
to different things.
But it would be like our technology that they're using.
Gotcha.
So that kind of school approved.
That one will definitely. I bet that one will have some committee, and there'll be some people stepping up one way, both sides. There,
I think both sides will have
the negatives of it, the positives of it, and
I think there'll be really good points on either side. I would say I waffle from time to time.
I guess I hate to be a fence sitter, but at this point in time, I'm kind of a fence sitter on that one.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, if it passes, we'll go with it because that's what you do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if they tell us that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. But I just found it really interesting, and I thought maybe some of you listeners might find that interesting too. So,
yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So there's just a quick some things that caught my eye. I think over the next few months here, we'll keep kind of talking about other things. There are other bills going on. There's one to put 10 commandments in school. There's one to create a child protective service liaison in schools that would work more closely with child protective services. There's a lot of funding bills.
Yeah.
And that's just on a cursory look.
Yeah. The funding bill will always be interesting. And, one of their big goals was to try to have that committee, between these sessions was supposed to come up with a better way.
New formula.
Right, a better way to fund. Yeah. We haven't seen or heard anything of how that's going to go or what it's going to look like. That one's always fun, right?
Yeah.
Just to see what they...
Well, the implications of that are, of course, huge. And for those of you that maybe remember 2 years ago, where we actually went down and we testified and students went down as well. And, that funding was a big deal to us. It would have affected us huge.
Right.
Negatively.
That was because we're one district, two schools.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, two schools that are so far apart.
Correct.
One of, I think, was it 5 districts in the state are like us, where the schools are more than 15 miles apart.
Right.
Yeah. And so that sharing a staff is difficult when you're that far away.
Yeah, when it's a 30-minute round trip
Yeah.
on really good days.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Or 30-minute one way. I shouldn't say round
One
trip.
way.
30-minute one way
Yeah.
on good days.
Provided the fog or the ice
not
or the
talking
wind.
about snow.
Yeah. That changes. So anyway, there's a lot to look out for, and we'll be keeping our eye on those and trying to bring some to your attention. And it's important to be in the know. So
For sure.
yeah. Well, that's pretty much what we have for this week. Paul, any parting words for you today?
No, I'm getting ready to get out there let's get that travel thing rolling. So here we go.
Yeah, again, if you're looking for something to do today or tomorrow, it's all day. So
It is all day.
Come on by, get some popcorn and some concessions, and it'd be a good time. So. Well, this has been the Bomber Buzz. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next episode. Taking us out, here is the Berthold Band playing our school song. Cool.